evening, everyone. Thank you, community members, for coming out, and to my fellow members of a working group. Kudos, everybody. I won't be before you very long. I want to talk a little bit about Women at the Well Transition Center and the work that we've done over the past, this is now our 15th year, working with women who are incarcerated, formerly incarcerated, those impacted by the criminal justice system. That is our mission, to assist those women who are in the process of reentry, who are actually impacted by the criminal justice system, and those who are incarcerated. That does not always mean everybody that we have served over the years has been incarcerated. When I say impacted by the criminal justice system, some women never make it to the jail or to the actual prison, but they're arrested so many times that their lives are impacted, their families are impacted by the criminal justice system. And so Women at the Well Transition Center was founded basically for us to be able to meet the needs of those women who find themselves in different forms of crises, and to assist the family members as well. I just want to talk a little bit, because we are working with, we're talking here to talk about the issue of solicitation and sex workers in Atlanta. I want to kind of focus just on the work that we have done with that, in that area. Our work with women on the streets and women who have been involved in solicitation and prostitution, for lack of a better word, started 10 years ago with our program called Gift for Life, GIFT, Giving Information That Facilitates Treatment for Life. And what we ran into is that so many of the women who had been impacted by the criminal justice system, so many of the women who had actually come to our transitional house from the prison had at one time, especially those who had a history of substance abuse, but not all, had at one time been involved in selling their bodies for either drugs or for sustainability. What we also saw across the board was that it began to change from not just women, but it also included girls. And we got involved with this many years ago when, in fact, the year that they made pimping a felony, it was because of those two young sisters who were on Metropolitan Boulevard. Those two young women who had been found entangled in sex trafficking, they were being prostituted by a pimp, and because of that scenario, those two twin girls kind of jump-started the process of making pimping and pandering a felony. Well, those two young girls also belonged to the church that I belong to. And so in order, their parents really did not know how to help them get out of that cycle. And I was at that time working just with women coming out of prison, but they asked me if I could help. So we had those young women for the entire weekend, every weekend. So during the week, they were with their parents, and they were being well guarded because of this case that was ongoing. But on the weekends, they spent their weekends at our program, Women at the Well Transition Center. What happened was that the older women began to mentor these young girls, to talk to them about, what was going to happen if they continued with this type of behavior, understanding that it really was not just their decision. They were entrapped. They were entangled. They did not know how to get out. And the other piece of that was they saw money, more money than they had ever seen their parents even earn. Our work from there transitioned into working on the streets. Literally, I would go out at night because of my background as a formerly incarcerated woman. I spent 10 years in the federal prison system, in and out of the prison system. I was arrested 29 times. I was jailed 27 times. I went to prison 7 times. And not one time was I ever offered treatment. And the times that I spent in prison or in jail, nothing was ever offered to help me to make a change. And I think that we misjudge a lot of the programs that we have now. We think that we can empower individuals. You cannot empower another human being. You can give them the tools by which they can empower themselves. And so the Gift for Life program came about as a result of us hitting the street. Out on the street at night from 10 at night to 4 in the morning, and we started doing it then because that's when these particular individuals were out. They're not out at 8 in the morning, they're not out at 10 in the morning. They are out that time of night. So we started at 10 at night till 4 in the morning, and we started working with the Atlanta Police Department officers who were stationed. Their area at that time was Metropolitan Boulevard and Sylvan Road. They would Initially, I would be out there at night. We had coffee and donuts. Sounds cheesy, but that was the only, okay, 1 minute, thank you. That was the only thing that they had, that we had to offer them, and that was what enticed them. I'm not worried about the microphone. I got a big mouth, that's why I'm preaching. But anyway, let me say this, that our work went from giving, our work with the women and the girls on the street started off with just giving them, just being present. And we went from being present to handing out an envelope that included a business card that had task force for the homeless number, domestic violence, teenage runaway, and we included in that small envelope a condom, because I had two choices. I could either give them a condom and keep them alive until they could make another decision, or I could just do their funeral. Our work started from there. Today, the police officers call us. We've been real fortunate, as I close, that we did have one where I had with the Atlanta Community Impact Program that has supported our work with women and girls on the streets. We were very fortunate to have our Rosalie Joy from our public defender's office go out with us one night. And I think it was an eye-opener for us and for her as well to see how many women and how many girls we actually, but what we also saw is that we also had some transgender individuals that we had not seen. They were there, but they were invisible, and they weren't invisible anymore. So that's been our work with the MON.
If you guys could all speak up too, it's really hard to hear you.
Yeah. It's hard to hear me back there? Okay. Okay. Are there any questions from anyone? Yes, Stephanie. I'm sorry.
I am very, very impressed with your presentation. I want to know if you in fact have a 501c3 nonprofit status, do you have staff, where is your funding from?
Our staff has been basically other women like myself who have been part of our volunteer system. We applied for our 501c3 in 1998. We were awarded it in 1998. For that project or overall. For that project, $15,000. It's very low. We've done it as a referral because we did not place the girls who were coming straight off the street in the house with women coming out of prison, because you're talking about two very different populations. And so we found it really necessary in the process of transitioning to place women and girls who were coming straight off the street in a more nurturing environment. And so they didn't go there. As of last week, I did talk to a place in Clayton County. I don't want to mention the name because I don't want to spoil it. They are willing to give us space just designated for that, which would give us somewhere between 10 and 12 beds, because that facility will also have 2 resident managers in there. So our annual budget for that project is just $15,000. It's very low because we don't do a lot of the work with them in the housing, but we like to be able to do a lot of work. For that particular project, our first funding came from the Community Foundation. That first $15,000 came from the Community Foundation. The second time it was from the United Way. We got $10,000 from the United Way. Yes.
And just how many women and girls have you served on an annual basis?
Annually, under the Gift for Life program, probably about 35. That's not a lot, but I think that it has a lot more to do with our resources right now. It has a lot more to do with resources. Our volunteers are other women from our program, other girls and women, but we also have individuals from different prison ministries around the city who volunteer their time and services just to be there. I think that what I have learned from in the years that we've had Gifts for Life is that the things that I thought we needed, because of my experience out there as a prostitute, have evolved so much more that it's very high tech. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have cell phones to set up appointments. And the things that we were stuck on were just trying to support our children who were out there. Now we have young girls who are after the person's bag. But I will say this. There is one young lady in particular, and this young lady worked the streets her entire time at Georgia State College. She was at Georgia State. She worked at the streets also until she finished law school. The day she passed the bar, she stopped, bought a car, and got a furnished condo for her. I would not promote that, but what she did say was that
she will never be the same person that she started off. She feels like she gave away so much of herself, and now she's in counseling to mentally be able to do the job that she thought she was going to be able to do.
Thank you, Pastor. Tracy, one question.
Yes, absolutely.
So there will be, yes, you mentioned there will be designated.
Absolutely. Yes, that I would, there are two things that I have learned over the years. One is that we cannot exclude our transgender, and I cannot exclude men from the work that Women at the Well Transition Center has done. So many of our programs now have evolved. Our parenting program that started for women in jails and prisons is now, we now offer for men as well. And so the Gift for Life program, we would be remiss if we did not include transgender. I am looking forward to working with some agencies who will come on board as volunteers to help us with that.
Thank you, Pastor. We have baby upcoming and also